I am, technically. Anyway, hi, hello, how art thee? So, I'm doing a quick, I don't know what I'm doing, but we're doing it. So, and I'm using my phone this time. So the quality, I'm using my phone because the lighting is so bad, honestly. Um, oops. But anyway, I don't want to put these all up right. Ooh, the Six of Cups was in reverse. Anyway, so I just was live, right? And there was a more immediate Nine of Cups and the Eight of Pentacles, Five of Cups, Six of Pentacles in reverse. Um, yeah, there was a more immediate sort of interpretation that was really solidified by the final place cards, a city with a bunch of arcs. It reminds me of the first time I came to London and how it was right after my darkest night, right before, I guess it was after my rebirthday, but it was before I really started like reading, doing self readings and stuff. Because after I came back or went back, that's when I started doing the readings. When I got into the wild unknown animals, because I was like, oh, animals are less intimidating than tarot, of which I knew nothing at the time. I was like, at least with animals, most of them I can kind of sort of get a feel. And they came with guidebooks too. Um, but anyway, with the challenge of intentions and stuff, when I first arrived, it was that like it was unlike it was the first time I had left the country. It was unlike anything I had ever experienced. And it was a feeling of like this is possible, but I would have to work for it. At the time I didn't think I wanted to, but turns out I ended up doing the work. And now, maybe it was just like, the chariot and the nine of swords. Maybe more nine of swords then, more chariot now. Um, it's like I've done all the work. I have positioned myself to have a chance, and so why not take it? And maybe I will, right? What reality was virtual then in terms of a dream or something that could be is something that could be. Now, of course, there are other ways to read it, but anyway, I just put all of these upright and the sun has slid back to the side with the Six of Cups behind it, which is interesting because the Six of Cups was in reverse. I might have to move. All right. I can only tolerate not great lighting for so long before I'm like, okay, Patrick. Let's try a little bit, shall we? So this is me. And better lighting. There you go. Not backlit by the gray sky. What's interesting is, I don't know how apparent it is to y'all, but I didn't go to the person who usually does my hair when I got my hair done this last time. I went to a friend and she did her best. She was like, if anyone asks you who did your hair, just say she did her best. So, um, but like she did her best, kind of sort of took over where someone else had left off. So if she had done the whole process, I'm sure it would have turned out better. But a lot of these, because I prefer the two strand twist lately, um, like this, The two-strand twist is mostly undone, but because the rubber band is still on it, like these pathways, these hair, these locks, this one is better. It was a braid. They stay connected, right? Because of the ends, no matter if they sort of like have that space up there or not. These, I thought it had a rubber band on it. This one, I thought it had a rubber band, but it didn't. But it's interesting because the twist, they're still united in the middle. Anyway. Ace of Cups, neither here nor there. What am I doing? I was going to do something. I think I forgot. Maybe we'll do something almost more collective because I did the personal read. And maybe it's like just as I have navigated challenge in my own life to make certain things more real than virtual. So too, do we collectively the concert, vibrant soundscape, energy and unity. Cool. So too, do we navigate collective or interpersonal challenges to make real other realities, right? So let's see. I don't know. This will just be a few cards. I kind of want to. All right, I'll give it two more. Claim flip, claim fall. All right, I'm gonna pull the top and the bottom of the deck. I will reveal the middle. I'll just grab this one. And it is the theater. Venue of storytelling. Let the story unfold. Interesting. And it's an empty theater. It looks like a theater with concessions inside, if I'm not seeing that incorrectly. Which is interesting. The Fool is at the bottom of the deck. Venue of storytelling, let the story unfold. Clean flip and clean fall. Is this shaking? We're just gonna keep going until something flips or falls. The Knight of Swords and the Nine of Swords fell cat corner on the bottom right corner of the theater. The Knight of Swords, it almost looks like the sword. The Six of Wands at the bottom of the deck. I feel like we've seen these and how they were moving in different directions. Directionality is an interesting concept of some of these lately. Specifically within the 8-bit fantasy tarot. Because even for the self read, there was like this upwards directionality and a downwards directionality. And anyway, it almost looks like the sword isn't properly seated within the hilt. You see how it looks like the blade of the sword kind of bends a little? It's like, you know. And it. What does a bent blade mean? Because I'm sure a bent blade will still cut, right? Temperance. Okay. So temperance came out touching the top right side of the Knight of Swords. So I guess we start at the theater using this directionality. There's an upwards path and an upper path and a lower path. Um, the starting point is the Knight of Swords heading to the theater. Let the story unfold. Going down, stepping down is the Nine of Swords. Stepping up is Temperance. The Ace of Swords falls on the lower path, but it's like going up. It fell in the lower place, but it's going up in directionality. These are kind of just like falling wherever they fall, which I am here for. Eight of Pentacles. And I'm going to leave this here. There's a gap between the Nine of Swords and the Eight of Pentacles. There's something here that's almost very like trust the work that you've done or trust the efforts that you've put in. And it may be easier said than done. Because with the Nine of Swords, there is a certain anxiety here. But it seems like in this Nine of Swords, every sword is facing the same direction. Which is different than some of them where they kind of sort of like rotate. My computer's asleep. Why are you making noise? It's the fans. So then as we move this up, and like the Ten of Wands has done a clean flip inside of the deck while everything else has been falling, which is interesting. But again, the thing about the Ten of Wands, at least here lately, the Queen of Pentacles has also done a queen flip and has sent like 5 cards face down on the theater that have a similar upward trajectory. 3 cards that have an upward trajectory that's parallel to Temperance coming off of the Nine of Swords, but it's a different origin point. It doesn't start at the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords to Temperance would be to either slow it down for one, or it would be a measure of the accuracy of the information of that Ace of Swords that the Knight of Swords moves with. The Knight of Swords knows enough to move at speed, but it doesn't necessarily know the whole truth. It knows enough to be convicted enough to move. But with the Knight of Swords, time tells what the truth actually is. Now, this could be Because this person is like working on this pentacle. So it's like someone could have been moving at speed with the Knight of Swords, moving with what what was the truth at the time. But it's like as they were moving at speed, the sword started to like come out of the hilt. Right. And so it's like when they were in the middle of something, they had a realization, some kind of truth. But at that point, it may have been too late. Too late for what? I don't know. Excuse me. Which is why the Temperance was here. Maybe Temperance was here to try to counterbalance this Nine of Swords. This could also be a message of like all is not lost. There's something that hasn't been like, even if it's mostly done, it's never too late to set the record straight or whatever. And it actually may be more admirable to be in that situation and make that choice. That's why there's a crown on this Ace of Swords here. The place is the gas station, essential pit stop, take a break and refuel. Yeah, that's why there was the gap between the Eight of Pentacles and this Nine of Swords. Take a break and refuel. It's not too late to set the record straight. Or, like, let's say that someone's been working on something. Excuse me. And at some point, there was like a lot of excitement about momentum that the thing was gathering. And let's say that where it has gone or where it has headed is different than like the mission statement or the reason why something was started in the first place. And maybe that can be a source of anxiety. Or in this Nine of Swords, where it's like maybe feeling like you have to sacrifice the rollout of something or the momentum of something to connect it back to what it was meant to be. Um, but I almost wonder if something not like will fail, but it's almost like there's some kind of roadblock with the thing as it is that didn't exist with the thing as it was, like at the start. But in either way, it's to tap back into the truth of what you're doing or why you're doing it as you move forward. And you may find that like it gives you new drive and momentum, the refueling. Now, this completely other path coming off of the theater is the river. Constant moving stream, go with the flow. And it's interesting because, again, it looks like Temperance is going to go to this river, but it doesn't make it all the way. There's this completely different starting point. Knight of Wands, the World, and the Two of Pentacles. Oh my gosh. Now, what's interesting here, and then also the Queen of Pentacles and the Ten of Wands that had fallen out before. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of these swords. Have this cross on the hilt. and 5 of them are like flat, or 4 are flat. These usually they're like the double-ended candles that the world is holding. It's like two of those cross-tipped or cross-guard swords fused together. So it feels like, and then I guess the last one is this Ace of Swords. What happens to the flat tipped swords or the flat guard? I don't know. I guess it would be the Fire of the Knight of Wands. Because to reforge a sword, it feels like there's a certain amount of heat that is required to make the metal malleable again. The Two of Pentacles is coming out as almost like a minor lovers. And it's interesting because the Two of Pentacles earlier today it came off as a minor temperance energy. And temperance is here again. Um, it's just that, like, it feels like it's minor lovers because there are these choices and decisions, like small, minute, everyday choices and decisions while the story is unfolding that change the world. It's almost like a BioWare game or any other game where the choices and decisions that you make have an impact on how the story unfolds, and like if a character approves or disapproves and what that approval or disapproval means in terms of the role that they play later on in the story. It's like these little seemingly inconsequential things that actually do amount to a lot. Let the story unfold, go with the flow. The Knight of Wands, on the other side of the world of the Two of Pentacles, it speaks to alignment. Because the Knight of Wands, like this Knight of Wands energy, is similar to a lot of Knight of Wands energies. It's just that what it finds like passion and pleasure, and it's like healthier. So it's not self destructive. It feels though, because it's the Queen of Pentacles and then the Ten of Wands after this, it feels like this Knight of Wands, Two of Pentacles energy that's able to make those choices and decisions that at least put them in the energy of the river. The story is unfolding, we're going with the flow. It feels like there's some kind of responsibility that the Queen of Pentacles almost imparts. And it feels like a burden on that Knight of Wands energy. Almost because like the Knight of Wands was doing it for because it liked it. It's almost like how sometimes if one turns a passion into a career, how it can, depending, it can like suck the fun out of it. Then the passion becomes a job. But it is almost at its destination. It looks even closer here. What's also interesting is this staircase goes above the river. Let's see. Oh, that was immediate. To the beauty salon. Transformative space, self-care, and rejuvenation. The beauty salon was actually touching the top right corner of the river when it fell. Feels like we need one more because it doesn't completely. There we go. And we have the rooftop. Skyline views, peace above chaos. So through self-care and rejuvenation, it reaches that peace above the chaos. And now there's a card in between the Ten of Wands and this peace above chaos that is like to bridge and connect those two. It almost feels like from the perspective of the Queen of Pentacles that responsibility, whatever it may be, shouldn't be too much of a burden or a problem. Because I'm looking at the Two of Pentacles and how it balances these two. And so it feels like from the perspective of the Queen, it's like, well, what's one more? Maybe it's who it comes from. Maybe it's not challenging or difficult in essence on its own. Like maybe it's a responsibility that is handed down, or it's an acknowledgement and recognition by one that someone like respects a lot. And because they respect that person a lot, it means that much more. Right. Which falls back into the energy of Anubis behind the scales, the CEO that shows up to the interview. This energy that's been, I guess, coming out quite a bit. An energy of recognition by someone of like importance. But again, it's that whole like, if you've already been recognized, then there's not much more to prove. So how does one relieve themselves of the pressure of this Ten of Wands and still reach their destination? Peace above chaos. I feel like that peace above chaos, it like again, because this is an energy that is so respected, it could be something that's like, well, if this person recognized my efforts, then like I've made it. Like there's no need to worry about anyone else acknowledging or accepting me. Now, also off of the self care and rejuvenation of the beauty salon, like we ideally are that person for ourselves. So this card, the card that came out, fell out touching the Two of Pentacles in the world, leading off in this other direction. All of the cards are going this way. One's like going up, one's going down. It's going up, but like it's branching. It's the Queen of Wands. Excuse me. It's to be self assured. That's what the Queen of Wands is the queen of, like basically self assurance. And it doesn't have to be in like a cocky, egotistical, full of herself way. It's just that like she knows who she is and she's comfortable in it. She knows what she's capable of and she's not going to downplay, and she doesn't need to like oversell. So if we take this Queen of Wands a step further, ooh, clean flip, we have the King of Pentacles. Interesting. So we have the King and the Queen of Pentacles branching off up here. There's so many branches to this. But the King and the Queen of Pentacles have a common denominator of the Two of Pentacles. Again, because the Queen of Wands that branches off of the Two of Pentacles. It's like two different lines. Meanwhile, the Knight of Swords sort of like had its own. The Knight of Swords is its own line coming out of the theater, letting the story unfold. That culminates in take a break and refuel. Where's the King of Pentacles heading? Because it's in a different direction. It is its own place. Oh, that's too many cards. The city and the beach, where land and sea meet, endless horizons, economic powerhouse, diverse opportunities. Endless horizons and diverse opportunities. A beach city. Isn't Beach City the name of the place that Stephen lives? And then the classroom and the desert came out. Learning grounds, lessons taught, and scorched horizons, tension and survival. Lessons taught, tension, survival. This came out mostly in the cluster between the Two of Pentacles, Temperance, Knight of Swords, Nine of Swords, closer to the theater or coming off of the theater. So again, we learn amidst the tension while we're trying to survive, while the story seems like it's going in one place. I think that's maybe another thing too, right? The story, like there's the thing that we're working on, the thing that we've been working on with this Eight of Pentacles. And there's life that happens. As the story is unfolding, we think that it's going to play out a certain type of way because it has so much momentum and because like everything is pointing to that. But again, the blade of the sword is not properly seated within the hilt, so something about it is off. It doesn't necessarily play out the way that we thought it was going to play out. And then there's that Nine of Swords in between of like, it can involve a lot of stuff that it doesn't necessarily have to. I was thinking about pain yesterday because, why not? And how pain a lot of times lets us know that something is wrong. And without pain, we wouldn't know until it's like much, much, much too late. We wouldn't know until it's over. Without pain, we wouldn't be aware. And I was also thinking about how important it is to get like a proper diagnosis or to gauge how something has proceeded or is proceeding. Like, where does it hurt? What kind of pain is it? What's the severity? And so this Nine of Swords, this realization that could be like a, oh no, like I should have kept doing what I was doing. I jumped ship because I thought that with the way that things were going, things were going to play out differently. But now it's looking like they're not. And maybe it's an opportunity to appreciate one's intuition discernment, one's ability to um, do what they feel, I guess. Or, because again, it's feeling like whatever someone started working on with the Eight of Pentacles, it is closer to the truth. The Knight of Swords came in convincing and fast. It's almost like whenever someone's like fishing and they're like trying to hack you, how they'll create a sense of false urgency so that you don't fully think through things. You just click a link or you give money or whatever to try to avoid whatever outcome they presented to you. But instead of like fishing, it's like instead of creating a false sense of urgency, it almost creates a false sense of like hope. And so again, that's why it's convincing, so convincing to like ditch what you're doing, jump on this new thing, get rich quick. And then you find out like, oh, it was a scam. Now, obviously, if your intuition discernment tells you it's not a scam, take it as it resonates. I feel like we're at the point where taking things as they resonate is assumed, using our own intuition and discernment is assumed. It shouldn't necessarily have to be said because it's been said so many times. There's a place that's like hanging off the deck. Social media, digital networking, global interactions. Oh, we got the rooftop in the city. Peace above chaos. But yeah, it's amidst the tension and survival and the craziness of life that we are expected to learn these lessons. Cool. I feel like that's it. What was this? I don't know. King of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, Queen of Wands. I could look before and after the King of Swords, King of Wands. I'm not gonna do that. I think that's enough. I'm like, if we hit that gas station where we have to rest, refuel, reconnect to the truth or whatever, I feel like we don't necessarily have to feel some type of way about that besides it being what it is. That's why I said what I said about pain. Um, it just lets us know that, hey, something is up. It doesn't have to be more than that, right? So when we reach that point of realizing, like, oh, maybe I should have taken this other path, maybe I should have done this differently, that differently, maybe I should have listened to my intuition. There are so many ways that we can take it. It is okay to be like disappointed. We don't have to shame ourselves for feeling disappointed or whatever. But also, there's a whole bunch of stuff that it doesn't have to mean. Like, it doesn't have to mean that we're dumb or stupid or bad at making decisions or that are blah, 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 whatever. Like, it doesn't have to mean any of that. We can make it mean that, and it can feel like it, but it doesn't have to mean that. What is interesting here, though, is well, maybe that's it because it fell on top. It's like covering the temperance card. I was going to say temperance leads to nowhere. Temperance is almost this dead end path. Temperance only came to balance out the Nine of Swords. But again, this scorched horizon, learning grounds, lessons taught, tension, and survival. Maybe temperance helps us navigate this. It's also interesting because was it the beach? Something had expanded horizons. Yeah, endless horizons is the beach. And then we have these scorched horizons in the desert. When it's scorched, it feels like it does feel like a dead end. It's like when you burn something to cauterize it or to seal it. But again, there's water in the desert. There's life in the desert. All right. Cool. Also, again, let the story unfold. Right, that's what we started with. Letting the story unfold. Things can turn out in ways that we don't even necessarily expect. I don't know what that song is. It's like, let the music play. Something, get away. I don't know. Just putting these back in the deck and separating them, putting them in different places, different spaces. The Ace of Pentacles just flipped out. Ace of Pentacles for me is like a new world. The Ace of Pentacles symbolizes Earth to me more than the world symbolizes like the world. It's a new world, it's a new experience. And it could have had an entrance that was like so many others. There doesn't seem to be anything particularly, to me, I was just feeling like there's nothing particularly different about this gateway that leads to this Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Swords at the bottom of the deck. Besides maybe the greenery here is the greenery in the Ace of Swords is taken from here. So in this Ace of Swords, when you approach this, because they match, then you would know. But only, it's almost like only if you kind of already know with that Ace of Swords, or only if you've already been exposed to something that would let you know that it's different. Could be your intuition, discernment, but the Ace of Swords is a card of knowing. And I wouldn't necessarily always consider intuition and discernment knowing. Like the Ace of Swords has a logic to it that like intuition discernment doesn't. It's more trust-y unless you, it feels like by default it's more like watery, trust the process-y. But the more you do it, the more you work with it, the better the relationship you establish with it, the more it tends to air than water, right? It's like if you have something that can accurately predict the future, and it's like a toy, and you're like, this toy shouldn't be able to do that. But the more that it does it, the more you kind of sort of just trust it, the more it comes into knowing. But that Ace of Swords, it feels like something that we have like cognitive ties and connections to. Something that we've grown to understand beyond just like knowing or being exposed to through intuition and discernment. All right, final cards. Ooh, okay. We have the bus stop, waiting zone, patience. Waiting. And it's an empty bus stop. It's a clear day. It's not raining, it's not snowing. I don't know the temperature. I don't know how like particularly hot. So in that way, the shelter of the bus stop may not necessarily be needed, but it still offers a seat if you'd like to sit, right? And I feel like in that there's almost something about recognizing the energy of that wishing well is it's come out before. The wishing well that came out at the end, I think I was the final card on that one, and it was like someone was disappointed to find the wishing well because they were thirsty. And it's like, well, you can just wish for water at the wishing well and quench your thirst. It's like, I was just looking for an ordinary well. Bottom of the deck again is the theater, venue of storytelling. Let the story unfold. Patience, let the story unfold. But it feels like in this waiting zone, the waiting zone in the theater is intermission. Intermission occurs between different acts within a play, as far as I know. During that intermission, you can like safely get up and go to the bathroom, get concessions, without fear of like missing something because the story has paused. But the thing about the bus station is again, it feels like this waiting zone may offer something to us that we can use if we want. Again, it's that whole like, you may not need the shelter of this bus stop because it's not raining, it's not snowing. There's no particular reason why you need to shelter from the elements, but you can sit if you choose. Something about that. Cool. Ooh, that was a. Oh, that's too many. I was tempted to take them. Final card. Clean flips, clean falls. That was a clean flip. That was another clean flip. Oh, that was a fall. Let's see. We're gonna go backwards. The Knight of Cups in reverse. Don't necessarily have to take it in reverse. The Seven of Pentacles on its side. I saw the Lover flip over again. The Lover upright. And I think that was it. I'm pretty sure that was the first card. And then this card that came out face down, bottom of the deck, is the Two of Swords on its side. Two of Swords for me is Minor High Priestess. It's when our intuition, it's when most of our thinking, reasoning, logicking skills fail to choose one thing or over another. Nothing is inconspicuous, nothing sticks out, nothing is glaringly right or wrong, better or worse. But there can be like a nagging feeling I feel like it's saying to like wait. Again, like the bus stop in the theater, that waiting zone. Let something unfold. Or your intuition is telling you that something is going to unfold in a certain kind of way. We have the Five of Cups. This is so interesting. Because it's pixelated, this feels like the moon is like peeking its head up over the horizon and is like doing one of those, like, one of those looking, giving like the side eye, the eyes emoji. Looks like the moon is like popped its head over the horizon and is like looking at this person. I know it's supposed to be a bridge, but that's what it's looking like today. And it's interesting because the moon is in this Two of Swords too. Under the Two of Swords is the fire of the Ace of Wands. Now we have all four elements. I guess five if you count the lovers as like a major arcana, right? Two swords, one wand, seven pentacles, and six cups if you include the knight with that five. And then the lover. What's also interesting about this lover card is we see these trees, but we don't see much land under their feet, giving it an energy of like, this is like high level choices, decisions, high level, like things coming together at a high level, maybe so high or so almost detached that down on the ground it can't be seen. Again, like, going to my hair. This would be up in the sky where they're actually connected, up here where the twist is still there. But down on the ground, it's like they seem like they never like come together or whatever. Anyway, there's an energy of like something has been decided here. Even like before, or even in like the read before, there was a whole bunch of momentum with that Knight of Swords, but things didn't necessarily pan out the way that it was looking, or things won't necessarily. Things won't necessarily pan out the way. There's a card in here. Who wasn't a part of the High Priestess? Wow. The High Priestess was in the box this whole time. But we saw the Two of Swords. My High Priestess. The High Priestess was in the box this whole time. So yeah, again, let something unfold. It may look like it's headed in a certain direction and quickly at speed with that Knight of Swords, and maybe we ourselves have played into whatever with the Nine of Swords, where there was the Eight of Pentacles. The Eight of Pentacles that was with the Ace of Swords. The Ace of Swords, that is the only way to tell that that Ace of Pentacles is like there. That something is like new or different or whatever. Like a decision has been made. The decision, it feels like the Queen of Pentacles is somehow related to that decision. Obviously, like the World card. Um, the Two of Pentacles. I said it was feeling like a minor lovers this time, and because it was making those small everyday choices and decisions. The lovers in this deck is up in the sky. the world was floating in the sky. So again, there's like an alignment. And that was the thing with the Knight of Wands. It was about alignment. And it was recognized by whatever that Queen of Pentacles is. Given with great power comes great responsibility. We saw the great responsibility that the Knight of Wands was burdened with, given, granted by the Queen of Pentacles. But we didn't see the great power. The great power was sort of, I guess, assumed. Right, that's why. Well, I guess not necessarily. Um, but yeah, whatever that choice or decision is, it feels like once made, that's what puts the brakes on that Knight of Swords. That's what causes the blade to like shift out of the hilt handle. Cool. Peace above chaos, rooftops, beach cities, beauty salons. I hope y'all have an amazing whenever you see this, and I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. I hope that whatever you need along your path, journey, and where you find. And until next time, we'll see where I'll be.